Welcome back to Investing with Jimmy. And we're going to cover today in this episode what is going on with Nvidia and AMD. What's going on with these big chip manufacturers? Okay, so let's talk about this for a little bit. I'm going to give you the scoop on what's going on. I had to do my research. I can tell you exactly what's going on now. I did my studying. So here we go. All right. First, let's take a look at Nvidia and look at the 5-year. If you look at the 5-year, it has exploded 1,286%. Holy schmoly. If you would have invested $1,000 on this stock, you would have had a return of 1,286%. Holy cow. All right, so you're way up at the top. Nvidia will be a $350 stock. No ifs or buts about it. I think it will actually be $500. Nvidia is a buy. It's a hold, it's a hold, it's a hold. But don't think that you can't make flips as it keeps going up and down, up and down. A lot of people will attack it that way. And if they get caught where the stock dips down, it's such a good stock that it's going to come back as long as you're buying it now or if it dips a little more. Okay, so let's look at a 1 year. A 1 year, it's cooled down. I mean, hardly any companies are making any money in 2025. The 1 year is horrible for companies. As a matter of fact, Google is minus 16%. Nvidia is 16% positive. Nvidia is outperforming Google. Now, I don't like Nvidia's balance sheet. I actually like AMD's better, but it's not bad at all. I mean, the debt is not too bad. It's $43.2 billion in assets in cash, and they have almost 13% in debt. So it's not bad. Actually, I do like it. It's not horrible by any means. 12.95% in debt, that's not bad at all. I believe AMD is only 8%, or even no, AMD is like 4% in debt. That's amazing. Okay, so if we look at this stock, what's going on is this. It was just $112 yesterday, so it's basically lost almost $10 in 1 day. What Nvidia has is they have different power of chips. They have mediocre chips. They have some chips that are their highest chip that they manufacture for supercomputers and things like that. There is an AI war going on right now. The AI war, because the countries that have all of the highest intelligence of AI and the supercomputers will be able to dominate the world. United States and China are at war based on monetary war, currency war. Each are trying to destroy each other to bring down their economies. The problem right now for China is that the United States has the upper hand. Here's the problem. Guess who makes all the chips? Taiwan. Why do you think China wants to attack Taiwan? Because they have the power of the chips, and they're right next to China. So that's why China is over there constantly preparing for war. Because they want Taiwan. They want to be able to control those chips. Now, the problem is Taiwan is friends with who? America. So what's going on is America knows that they don't want to depend on China and they don't want to depend on Taiwan. So what do? They go to Taiwan and they say, hey, we got this brand new facility over here in Arizona, and we're building another one in Texas. Why don't you come over here and work with Nvidia and AMD? Because right now, Nvidia and AMD sends chips to Taiwan, and Taiwan works on the first phases of those chips. Nvidia and AMD are completely relying on Taiwan because they control the beginning stages of those chips on technology. Once those chips are done from Taiwan, then they're shipped to the factories in Arizona and soon to be Texas. And then they take it over from there. So what's going on now is the Taiwan people are being brought to America and working and showing in the factories in Arizona, and they're doing stage 1 over in those factories. So we're slowly taking over the chip power. America is. So as we continue to grow these and understand the technology behind it and have the Taiwan people, it also protects the Taiwan people. How? Well, because we're basically having a backup in a different country for them because they're so close to China and they're at the mercy. What happens if China attacks Taiwan and blows up that facility? What happens? The whole world would suffer. So what we're doing is we're protecting that technology, bringing the Taiwan people over here and slowly having them come over to Arizona and do and set up what they're doing in Taiwan. So it's kind of be like becoming business partners with them. Now, why is the stock going down? Well, because America is doing everything they can to weaken the Chinese. They're making it more difficult for them because they don't have the control over Taiwan. And they know if they try to attack Taiwan, it can lead to a major war with the United States defending them and the United States' allies, because China would be the aggressor on attacking Taiwan. That will cause the Europeans, that will cause NATO and everything to attack China. It would cost Chinese people dearly if they were to attack Taiwan. It would backfire and they would be surrendering within the first 90 days. They would do a lot of damage to American fleets. They would do a big damage, but they will not use a nuclear bomb. They would just surrender after 3 months because they would be getting destroyed. I don't care how much money they pumped into their military and their navy. It just would not be enough for America, United Kingdom, India, Australia, Japan. They would just get killed. They would have to surrender. So what's going to happen is China needs to, the Chinese people are going to end up having a tough time coming up. They're going to have a tough time. They're definitely going to take a hit. Will they eventually do things with America again? I don't know yet. Right now, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But what's going to happen is there's a rule that the United States put on Nvidia and AMD, and the power of the chips that are a certain type of technology power, we call them, middle chips. So the middle chips and the high-end chips have basically been shut down, and they can no longer go to China, cannot be shipped to China. Requires a certain license, and it's called the BS license. I don't have to tell anybody what that stands for, because America is controlling the technology on getting to China. It's just that simple. So what's going to happen is Nvidia has a huge future. They're going to be pumping out chips all around the world, and they're going to be the leader in the AI supercomputers. But they had, between inventory and the sales that they were going to make from China, buying the mediocre chips, the middle chips, and the high power chips, $5 billion that they're going to lose in sales. $5 billion. What's going to happen is their quarterly reports are going to be really bad. There's nothing they can do about it. It's going to be really bad. So you have a situation right now where people like myself and people that are getting educated on it understand that the long term of this stock is going to be very positive. It could go through some turmoil over the next 60 days. But I think that investors will take advantage of the fact that it's going down at a reasonable price. If you look at a one-year market, you justify it being at a reasonable price. As you can see, where it's at right now is towards the bottom of the history of the last year. But if you click on a 5-year, it's a different story. You look at the 5-year, you're buying way up at the top. Okay? So it's one of those type of stocks that I personally believe that this stock will trade for $524 a share. I think it will go all the way up in the future into the 500s. It's just too, it's just has too big of an asset. It has such a huge growth with all of the AI and the technology. Everything we do runs on these chips and these semiconductors. Everything. That's why it went up 1,200%. Okay, if you look at AMD, I'll show you AMD. And AMD's in pretty much the same boat. It heavily relies on China. Okay? And as you can see, AMD, we'll look at the 1 year. Okay, here's a 1 year chart. Okay, I don't know if that's a 1 year, is it? Let's see. No, that's not a 1 year. All right, well, look, we'll start off with the 5-year. Okay, so here's a 5-year. This is 207. This stock used to be $207 a share. 2023, $117 a share. 140, 120. Yeah, this is a good deal, man. Let's look at the 1 year. Look how low you are on the 1 year. Now, this stock has lost 46% this year. 46% this year. That's crazy. The 5-year, it's up 53%. But I'm telling you, 2025 has been a tough year for everybody so far. So far. All right. Now, let me show you the balance sheet for AMD. Look at this, guys. $5 billion in total cash. Only 4% debt. Wow. That's amazing. That is amazing. A lot of growth opportunity for this company. A lot of growth. Guys, I'm really, really liking this stock. Now, I do want to warn you guys. I bought this stock just 2 weeks ago for $77. I got the stock $10 cheaper than what you see it at right now. And I've already sold and made my money. So there's a lot of plays that you can do with this. But, you know, it's going to be tough. Now, AMD and all that kind of stuff, they're going to be fine. They're, manufacturers of chips right now are not going to go down. They're not going to go down. So pay attention to these two. that'll give you an idea of what's going on. So the biggest thing is you've got a control that America's flexed on, and is hurting China. So we're basically really hurting China. We're looking at China like this, okay? This has nothing to do with the people, good people, hardworking people. Nothing to do with the people of China. It has to do with their government. So America's like this. Look, little brother, we gave you a lot of business that we've made your country wealthy. You have used that money to rebuild all of your bridges, your sky rises. You build all these buildings of real estate. You upgraded everything. You're doing very good. You're investing in Vietnam. You're building big manufacturing plants in Vietnam right now. You're going to be building them in all these other countries. You go into all your neighbors and you're building manufacturing plants. So what has China done for America? Well, they built a military to kill us and to fight against us. That's what they've done in return. It's the truth. Whether you like it or not, it's the truth. They have consistently stolen American trademarks, remade them in China, and brought them to America and selling them at a cheaper price. They're doing a lot of things around the world in controlling ways. So what's happening right now is America has said, look, this is a win for you and a loss for us. So this is where, this is, we need you to come here and negotiate. So we started raising the tariffs to say, hey, look, we're done. This is what's going to happen to you now. Come to negotiate. What did they do? They raised their tariffs on us. Instead of coming to America, knowing how they have behaved. And they still would not give in. And they're calling us bullies. So now we're at the point where we're flexing and we're really showing our true power and control over the world. And I don't say that in an arrogant way, because we're known as a country that will protect. We know that we can't allow Iran to have a nuclear war, a nuclear weapon. Cannot allow it. Cannot allow it. They will take out Israel. They will kill millions of people. So we're not, if Iran was a normal country and they didn't act the way they did, we wouldn't be doing that. Is America bullies and start war for money and things and oil and power? Yes. Yes, they are. So America is no saint. But I wouldn't want to be on their bad side. I'll leave it at that. Okay, so that's it for today, guys. That's what's going on. And I hope you guys enjoyed that. New channel. I think this is my 4th video. Already got 100 subscribers, all thanks to Gamble with Jimmy. So thank you guys so much that come from Gamble with Jimmy over to here to support the foundation of this starting channel. And I will be showing you all of my live buys. So every time I buy, every time I sell, you will see it. You don't know what day it's coming. You don't, but I will show you. Okay? All right, guys, that's it for now. And I'll see you on the next one.